Hi, everybody, and welcome to episode 148 of the I Rock Knits podcast. Today, I have a friend with me, and this is Aimee of DarnKnitAnyway in Stillwater, Minnesota, which we have talked about many times on the podcast, especially recently when I have some chatting with friends. It's one of the places that I met Matt McCauley when we came over for a Stockinette Zombies birthday party, and this is the woman who is the head of Sweater Camp. And so I really wanted to have her on the podcast. She's going to share some of her favorite knits and some behind the scenes information about running a yarn store. So welcome.
Hi, thanks. I'm happy to be here.
Really glad to have her. I drove over to Stillwater today and I just said, would you be willing to share some of your favorite knits? And
I'm
I'm not really sure how we met.
I was thinking about that too. I think it might have even been at a zombie birthday party here.
Yeah. Might have been the first couple times I came over here. When did you open the shop?
2009.
Okay.
Yep. So 15 years this year.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
And I moved back to Minnesota in 2006. And so it would have been, I would have been a knitter because I was teaching knitting in Virginia at the time. And writing, I wrote a few felting patterns back then. So it might have been, when did Shop Hop start?
Shop Hop started before I opened.
Right.
So it might have been a few years.
It might have been a Shop Hop that I came to the store, but I don't know that I met you,
Yeah.
Right away.
Yeah.
And then once I really, in 2015 is when I really started, when Kylie graduated from high school, went off, I was like, okay, this is it. Now I'm going to take this time. I'm going to design. I'm going to write my first book. And then I probably called and begged you to have me come teach and talk and do all the things. And Aimee has been super supportive of me throughout my journey of doing this. She has had me teach many, many times, and I do talk about the shop on the podcast a lot.
You've been equally supportive of the shop.
Yes, about half my stash comes from the shop, which is large.
Yeah.
And I love your shop. I wish it were. We are as far apart as you can get in the Twin Cities.
Yeah.
She's in the Northeast, way up, and I am in the Southwest, way out. And so, but it only takes me a little over an hour to get over here, like during the day. Rush hour, that's a little different, but it only takes me a little over an hour to go diagonally with the interstate system and stuff. Yeah. So today I took the long way around because I had lunch with a friend. But
and Cori's not a morning person, so she's an afternoon girl.
I am,
which I love.
Yeah. Right. No, and evening. Like,
late night.
We could have, last night, 2:20 a.m.
Not me.
I was putting the podcast up. And usually I try to go to bed by 1, but I get a second wind about 9, 10 o'clock. And when my husband goes to bed, because he's a 5:30 a.m. runner, and we just do not, and during COVID, I just started living on my best life schedule, right? I was just like, you know what? I love to knit and watch TV and be with my dog until late at night. And I hate getting up, and just a world arrives early.
Yeah.
People want to get up and get going, but I just sleep until 9 and then I start my day. It's just
you do you. I'm a 5:30 up with the dogs, knitting with a cup of coffee or doing my books or something.
But if I asked you or my husband to stay up until midnight, it's
I could never do it.
Absolutely not, right?
No.
And he asked me to get up at 7:30, and I'm like, my day is ruined, right? Like, just like his day is ruined the next day if he stays up super late.
Right.
And I just, at one point, daughter's out of the house, I'm like, I can live, we weren't going anywhere, and I can stay up and live, and I get so much more done between 7 at night and 1 in the morning. So, So I said, could we meet in the afternoon? She was like, sure.
Of course, yes.
So, tell us about how you opened the store.
So, let's see. I was doing I do commercial interior design. That's what I did for a living. And my company was getting bought out by a bigger dealership. And I needed something else to do. And my kids were little. And the new company was like an hour away. And honestly, I just drove by the empty spot and thought that would be a great spot for a yarn store. And then within a few months, we've done it. Yeah. It's a little bit silly, but that's what we did. So,
wow. So you had been a passionate knitter, or you wanted to own a business?
Yeah.
Like, you wanted to be your own boss?
I thought it would be a really good business idea.
Yeah.
I thought it's a great spot. I thought all of those things. I was not a passionate knitter. I knew how to knit. My grandma
Yeah.
taught me to knit
Yeah.
when I was a kid. So I knew how to knit, and I knit a few things, but I really didn't become a knitter until I opened a yarn store.
Yeah.
Like a knitter.
Right.
And then you can't help but
you-
be a knitter because people come for help, and you just have to learn. It's like trial by fire.
Right, but you also don't get as much time to knit being a yarn store owner.
No. No.
Right,
You
like
think
I
you
think
will.
people, yes, I
Yeah.
think people think, oh,
Yeah.
that romanticized idea
Yeah.
of
No.
being a yarn store owner.
No.
And I know you and I have talked about the business ins and outs of
Yeah.
running a business and what it's like. And
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, and it was, I like to say that it was a, smart business, but it took many, many years for it to be anything.
Right,
That
right.
was, that
And
made us
did
any
you
money.
open with Carly right away?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. So Carly's my cousin. And one day I went to her, and she was at my Nanny Jean's, who taught us to knit, our grandma. And I said, "Do you want to open a yarn store with me?" And she said, "Sure." So she wasn't, didn't have a profession other than she was helping our Nanny Jean. She was her personal care attendant. She had 3 little kids at the time too. And yeah, we just did it. I just believe things will work out. It's just kind of in my nature. I'm a glass half full person.
Yeah, but I don't
and-
think it's always super easy to go into business with people, and
Yeah.
have the same agendas and you
Yeah.
guys have just navigated that pretty well.
Yeah, I mean, we aren't financial partners,
Right.
right? So that is probably helpful,
Right.
in that the actual financial decisions
Yeah,
are
you're
mainly
yours.
mine,
and so
yeah.
you don't have to share that
Yeah.
decision-making process.
Yes, but
yeah.
really, I was joking at sweater camp that she's had a concussion and she hadn't
Right.
been around for very, very much of the end of the year, and I said it's like I've lost my emotional support animal because we just make so many decisions together all day long for 15 years, and she was one of my best friends growing up. We're just a year apart. So
Yeah, so
like
she
our
had
whole lives.
she had
together.
an accident and has been still recovering for
Yeah.
months and months. It's
Yes.
been really
Yeah,
and the
it's been
shop
hard for
has
her.
missed her. The people in the shop have really missed her and
Yeah, and
her
she's-
energy.
Yeah, and she still does all of our social media. She does so all those great Instagrams and things. Those are
I
all
know.
Carly. So she's still in it. She just isn't right next to me, so I can say, "Hey, would you look at this email and make sure I didn't say something I shouldn't?" It was like all of those little things I'm missing.
So if you don't follow DarnKnitAnyway on Instagram, you should, because their sandwich board
Yeah, they're
is
good.
amazing. I don't know where she got the idea to kind of start that, and get
yeah.
that going, but
yeah,
it's really clever.
yeah, thank you. Yeah, we've been doing them since we started, but we never shared them.
Right.
And so now it just became a bigger deal because we're sharing them. So now we have to be real good at it.
Right,
Yeah.
and they're reposted all the time.
Yeah,
like
they're
people
really
pick
fun.
them up, and
Yeah.
What does it say today? It says something about I prefer the term yarn whisperer.
Yeah.
It's out
Yeah.
there when I walked in, and it's just a chalk sandwich board out on that has quotes on it, but they're really clever.
Yeah, and everybody
She's-
contributes. So
Yeah.
all of our Rockstar team, we have a board and a Trello board, like a notepad,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
we put all of our stuff in there. So
Yeah.
everybody's contributing to that.
Yeah,
So
It's a lot of work though.
Yeah, it
because
is.
I sat down one day to do a bunch of Instagram posts for upcoming, because I do Wednesday Wisdom and Friday Funnies to have my feed be filled, but with stuff that I don't have to do daily,
Yeah.
right? And it took me all day. That's
Well,
a big job.
It's a big job. And Carly will frequently send me a message and say, "Would you do this silly thing?" Because she
Yes.
saw some reel somewhere.
yeah.
So
No,
she's
yeah.
frequently making me do silly
Oh, I have a
things,
whole
but-
list of reels
Yeah.
that need to be posted too, and
Yeah.
they take even more
Yeah.
time. I
Yeah.
mean, you can do them quickly, but to get them edited and put
Yeah.
up, so
Yeah, she's
that-
real good at it.
there is a job that I don't think all yarn stores have a person for.
No, I
Like,
agree.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
And one that's so entwined in the store.
yeah,
Who just knows
right.
it all.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yes, we're so lucky to have her.
okay, so tell us how you learned to knit from Nana Jean.
Yep.
When
So
was that?
I was a kid, middle school, high school. I don't exactly remember. But the only time I really knit was when I was with her. So
Oh, okay.
I didn't go home and knit. My mom didn't knit. So I didn't really do much unless I
But
was with
she's
her.
local.
She lived local.
She was local. Yeah.
Yep. And then I went to college. And then I came home, bought a house, had my first job, and was living the life, And I did live a mile away from her, and I would go over there frequently to have food. She would feed me often. And she would be knitting, and she would say, you really need to knit. Like, you really need to, remember to knit and slow down, and it'll be good for you, and all of this stuff. And one day, and when I kept turning her down, I was not going to sit and knit with my grandma. I was not
cool.
in that frame of mind.
Yep.
And one day she said, she's English, and one day she said, who's going to knit the Christmas stockings when I'm gone? Because she was the Christmas stocking knitter of the family. Yep. Everybody has Christmas stockings. And I said, all right then, fine. So they conned me into it, basically. So then, and I have been knitting since then, really. So, but again, not seriously until the shop. Yeah. I didn't honestly really even understand the yarn store, like what a yarn store was. I shopped there with my grandma. I would go to the yarn store, but I didn't understand the community aspect of the store. I didn't know that was even going to be a thing. I didn't hang out in a yarn store. I didn't know it. So that really was a surprise. How much community there is in the store and how important that is for the business. That was a big surprise to us.
And I think people's need to feel that in the store can make or break a store.
Yeah, right? I think you're right. Yeah.
Like if you feel a connection with a worker bee in the store, it doesn't have to be the owner, but if I feel a connection, oh, she knows me and she knows I like brights, and she's not gonna pick out and call me and say we have new yarn that you'll like, not like that, but just someone that you
connect
have
with.
A little bit of connection to, you're much more likely
to
go back in and want to be in that space.
And I think newer knitters and crocheters don't know, like me, I didn't know. I think most people don't know that there's an opportunity for community either in a yarn store.
Sure.
So we have to make sure people are aware of that they can get community in a yarn store.
I might be jumping ahead, but you got a grant from a local church.
We did.
And in order to help open your space to this section that we're in now, which so talk about that.
So a local church here in town decided to offer us a grant to subsidize beginning knit and crochet classes. So the knit and crochet classes were $15, and it included all the supplies, and we provided the supplies and they provided the teaching. Basically, we taught, but they subsidized the teaching. And it really opened the shop up with a bang, kind of the Maker's Lounge part of the shop with a bang. We opened a lounge next to the store.
Which was a former restaurant.
It was.
So you knocked a hole in the wall.
We did.
A doorway.
So when COVID happened, our community, of course, couldn't come anymore. And so they were meeting in the hallway behind us or outside in the, so they kind of kept together. But when we wanted to bring them back into the store, we had used our kind of classroom space as shipping. And because we kind of had to pivot to shipping more.
Ship, so you could sell, so you could stay open.
Yes. And so when we did that, we didn't have room to bring our people back, or how we were going to do classes or events, or what we were going to do. And we talked about maybe renting a space upstairs from here. There's a couple of little spaces, but that didn't really work. And Carly's, and the restaurant that was here had closed during COVID and never kind of recovered. And so Carly said, maybe we should just knock a hole in the wall. And she was kidding. But I said, gosh, do you think we could actually do that? And we did. We knocked a hole in the wall. We talked to the building. They were hesitant because they didn't kind of understand. So you're going to be serving food and drink, and we're like, nope. People are just going to come and knit. Well, how are you going to sell? How are you going to make money? How are you going to pay the rent? And we just had to reassure him that that we were going to.
That if knitters come and sit and knit, they're more likely to purchase something on their way out. For sure.
So the lounge is open anytime the store is open, the lounge is open, and we welcome anybody to come with whatever yarn they're using. It doesn't have to be from our store.
Which I think is amazing. Because I hear that a lot, that in order to get help at a store or in order to go sit at a store for a long time, and I think that was something that was learned at H&H years ago. You really only should let people knit in your shops with yarn you sell, right? That was part of a marketing thing to sell more yarn, and they can buy it there, and then you can teach the class and they can knit with it. And I think we've started to really get away from that. I do think that came out of a kind of a desire for people to do something and everybody kind of did it for a while?
Yeah, I don't know. It's always been part of our model. Like, you don't have to buy yarn from me to take a class with us. We don't ever require any of that. I mean, our thought is we want you to love us so that you'll come back. So we are a yes store. We will say yes to pretty much anything. So,
don't you guys all want her to be your local yarn store owner? Yes, because the space has an upstairs. It has, and I've done a tour. So, of the space and showed it. But there's a fireplace in the middle, and it's a big restaurant area with 4 top tables, and there's a couple of couches and some comfortable chairs. But there's also kind of a classroom space. Like behind the fireplace, they have set up tables, and that's where I have taught, and it's lovely. Because I have taught between yarn aisles in yarn stores, right? I have stood in the corner of the doorway to the office while they brought up 4 or 5, 6 chairs, right? Like you're really fortunate. Because people want to have classes, but they do not have a classroom space, right? And so they invite you, but they don't even have a place for their people to sit.
Yeah, we get that. We are extremely lucky. We
and
feel
the
very
space
grateful.
that you had before it became shipping, was a nice classroom space too.
It was.
When you first opened, you had fabric.
We did. Yes. Yeah, we did. We were going to be like Crafty Planet. Which is now Knit and Bolt. And I loved them. And I thought we would be, we'd have yarn and fabric, and there really wasn't a fabric place downtown either. And so we sold like Aimee Butler and, you know, the naked people fabrics and stuff for pillowcases and that sort of thing. And then we weren't passionate enough about it, and we couldn't move the fabric fast enough to make a profit. And so
did you have sewing machines in here? I feel like
we
you did.
We didn't sell them, but we had them.
For
and
class.
We did like kids sewing classes and sew a skirt and things like that. But we weren't passionate about it, and it really wasn't. I mean, I think the model is a good one. We just
you have to have people that are bi-craftual though, in that way. You really need people that are working here that also can answer questions on both sides. And that's hard.
It is hard,
right?
We faked it. We faked that for sure. It didn't work.
And that was kind of a storage space too. There was yarn bins in some of those shelves for a while. Kind of back stock or whatever. And now it is a selling space, right? Like you've really been able to use that to house more yarn.
The goal is to never have it over here. In the lounge. The goal is to have the lounge always just be the lounge. So
it's an amazing space. This was and I've talked about this, but this was like a pirate themed bar. So it's you can see it's very brick, and the ceilings are dark and low, but in that room out there, it's all windows on that one side. I mean,
I know.
You couldn't have asked for anything more next door, right? Like you would have had to move to get a space like this. So
super lucky.
That's great. And then we are sitting actually at the bar in the back, where you now office. There's 3 computers that are set up on this space, and it is you could have a full bar set up, but we are sitting literally at a bar countertop, which is lovely that you have a space to work and not you also be in a like really cramped.
And we've never had kind of a back room, so I always had a computer like in the classroom space, and so it has been different to kind of be back in the back. They still find me though.
For sure.
They find me.
Why don't we talk just briefly about some of the yarns you carry? Like, what are some of the yarns you carry that people could maybe not see elsewhere, or that they could look online, because you have a full online shop for people. You have a full-time shipping guy.
We do. Tom is our full-time shipping guy.
I don't know if you call it full-time.
He's not full-time, but he's here a lot.
That's his job.
Yes. He only ships. He'll sometimes sneak in on a class or two. He'll teach crochet sometimes too. Tom does, but yes, he's lovely. If you ever ship anything from us, he will have written you a note. So that's our Tom. So we sell LaBarre. A lot of bases of LaBarre.
Which is not available in any other yarn shop in the Twin Cities that I know of.
I don't think so. I'm not sure, but we sell lots and lots of it. We have lots of beautiful bases of LaBarre. Let's see. When we sell,
which, if you don't know, I should just say, she is out of France. Yarn Dyer, that has been here to the shop. She has taught classes. You've had an open house that I came to where she taught, and she had samples, and she had her whole tons of yarn. But
And she's been at sweater camp a couple times.
yes, yeah, and showed us her dyeing process, and she's originally from the U.S. but has been living in Paris for many years.
Yeah.
But so that's that yarn brand. If you're not familiar, and I'll also have it put down on the screen here.
Yeah, she's fun to follow on socials too.
Because you guys have the same first name,
We do.
but you wouldn't know it.
Right.
Because hers is LaBarre, and
I'm just
Aimee, right? So it's just different. And I
Yeah.
wonder if when she's here, if she would have gone by Aimee,
Yeah.
or if
I
it
think
was
we called her
Aimee
Aimee.
or Aimee or
Yeah.
Aimee. I don't,
I'm pretty sure I called her Aimee when
Yeah.
she was here.
Yeah.
I didn't really think about it.
No.
Yeah.
Okay. What else
So
do
we
you
carry
carry?
LaBarre. We carry lots of your staples like
Yep.
Barocco.
Yep.
We carry Cascade. We carry some Euro yarns like Queensland, Ella Ray. We carry some of those brands.
Which, if they're podcast watchers for a long time, Ella Ray is one of my favorite. Ella Ray Chunky, which is
Really?
now discontinued.
Oh, I was going to say we don't carry that.
No, it was my. I knit sweaters with that have never worn or pilled
Yeah.
or done, like, just amazing. It's just like a chunky yarn. They worked up super quick, and they just, my owls is out of that. I have a cardigan, striped cardigan. It was just a really good workhorse,
Yeah.
chunkier,
Yeah.
And for Minnesota, it was fine,
Yeah.
because it was heavier than worsted, which a lot of people
Yeah.
in the South wouldn't knit with, but I loved.
Yeah.
And so I do like the Ella Ray
Yeah.
brand,
Yeah.
the style.
Yeah, we do too. We carry, of course, lots of Malabrigo. We carry Blue Sky Fibers. They're, of course, local to Minnesota. We carry them. We carry some Ba yarns.
Yes.
Yep,
Yeah.
which I'm not sure.
BAAH.
Yep. I think some are starting to carry it more in the city. We carry that yarn, which we like.
And then the front of your store is completely different than any other yarn store.
Yeah.
Well, than most other yarn stores, like,
Yeah.
especially in the Twin Cities.
Yeah, so when we acquired the lounge, we were able to move some yarn out of the main floor of the shop and put gifts there. So we sell a lot of gifts, funny socks and bags and notions and all sorts of things. What used to happen is we are in a touristy town, and tourists would come in and open the front door, and then they'd say, "Oh, it's a yarn store," and then they'd turn around and walk out. Now they walk in and there's maybe something else they can buy that's not yarn related. Or if you come with a group of friends to the yarn, to Stillwater, and you're a knitter and they're not, they can find something to buy. So it really has helped our business to kind of add this little section of gifts. Yeah.
So you have a lot of knitting accessories up there on one wall and needles. But then you can find, I bought a flippin' wallet the last time I was here, right?
Lots of stuff.
It was all colorful, and I'm like, well, of course I have to have that, right?
And we carry some baby things now. We have a couple new grandmas as rocks in our team, so we have some new baby things.
It's the whole front area. You can go round and round and not quite see it all. Like, you really can spend some time there before you even hit yarn. And lots of bags and lots of bags.
I love bags.
Lots of bags.
I have a bag problem.
I think a lot of us do. We have bag issues.
I just love a bag.
Baggage. We carry baggage, right?
True.
Whatever. But I do. I love the layout of that section as well.
Yeah, it's worked out well for us. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Let's talk about some of your favorite knits.
Okay.
Because we have just a few here, and she's just going to share. I thought it'd be really interesting. She's the first yarn store owner that I've ever asked to do this with, and I thought, gosh, their ideas of their favorite knits will be also tied into what was really popular in the shop or what people like to knit, which will be different than from what my friends who have been knitting for 10 or 20 years, or like Mary, 40 years, and what her favorite knits are over a 40-year span, because we have had some things that were quite old that are favorite knits as well, but I think yours I don't think we'll see the same stuff from you that we have seen from, and especially since several of my friends were from my side of town, where Lakeside was our local yarn store, we had a lot of the same projects and the same yarns from things
Yeah.
because Cynthia and then Bridget and now they're gone.
Right.
So we had some overlapping of some of the things.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Well, the first thing is this shawl. Carly calls this my wubby because I wear it all the time. It's like my security blanket. It is.
I love that.
Yes, it is called Paris Toujours, but we call it the badass shawl because I was wearing it one day and a customer came in and she said, Aimee, you look badass in that shawl. And no one has ever said I look badass, like in my whole 50 years. So now, jokingly, so now it's called the badass shawl. Customers will come in and say, I'm finally gonna knit that badass shawl. Like they think that's what it's called, but it is not. It is called Paris Toujours. I knit mine out of Dream in Color Classy. It's a very simple, just yarn over, knit two together, repeat. Very
it
easy
doesn't
lace.
even change.
No.
This is so funny because I did my favorite knits this weekend and I chose my Fiber Friend shawl, which is the same shape.
Oh.
Don't you find this so wearable?
Yes, for sure.
It's almost like a
Yeah,
triangle.
and, one end
but
is a little bit
it's like
extended.
a chip mark, right?
Yeah.
That's what they would. The shape would. We're
Yeah.
looking at it, but you can't
Yeah.
see it. So like it's definitely longer
Yeah.
where she is, and I love long tails.
Yeah.
I think any design that I do from here on out will have long, narrow tails. It makes things much more wearable.
It does, and you can tie it too. Like we were just in Chicago and it was windy, and so they were flicking back, and so I just did a little knot on them, and it wasn't bothersome.
Right.
Yeah, it's very easy to wear.
And they're not as bulky because they're not thick or
Yeah.
wide all the way out. So they really, this is beautiful.
Yeah, and it's very forgiving. So
Well, Dream in Color is a beautiful yarn.
yeah, and I don't even know how much I followed the pattern. I mean, I did, but like, some of these sections should be 5 tall, some should be 3. I just did it, and then if you add an extra garter row, nobody's gonna care. No,
Right? No,
there's no,
right.
yeah. And then I did another one. So it's the same one,
Yeah,
but just in a different color.
Oh, that's nice to give people.
Yeah.
To give those people that are gray in the world.
Yeah.
Everyone that watches my podcast knows that they'll never see.
Yeah, and there
anything
is some
gray
color
from
in it,
me.
but you can't really see it.
Is this a Dream in Color?
I honestly don't remember
Okay.
what the yarn is because
Oh, there are dots.
yeah,
in
there's
there.
specks in there.
On the back side, you can see them.
So
much
my husband
more.
and I were in Washington D.C. a few weeks ago for vacation, just the two of us,
and you can
and
see those colors.
I was knitting this sweater behind us, and I left it in an Uber. I left my Ori backpack, my sweater, which I'd just taken the sleeves off of. It had like extra needles, 2 extra skeins of yarn because I was almost ready to switch yarn. My like twister holder for my yarn, the whole thing in my Ori backpack, and I left it in the Uber. And I tried to contact Uber. It was very hard to reach Uber. They don't want you to contact them, really.
No.
So I thought, oh man. So I fretted for a few days and kept trying to reach them. And we got back on a Monday, and finally they Uber messaged me and said, we've talked to your driver. He has your bag. And I was like, I don't even care about the bag. I need the sweater that's in the bag. Anyway, so long story short, I'd lost my knitting. And luckily we were near Fiber Space.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yep.
we were going to go to Fiber Space anyway, but now I really had to go because I had no knitting for the rest of the trip. So I bought 2 skeins of a DK hand dyed. I don't honestly even know what it was. I probably have the label somewhere.
Yeah.
And
I feel
and
like
had to
this
knit it.
could be Madeline Tosh.
I don't think it is.
Okay.
I
Because
think
they
it was
have
a yarn from the area.
Oh, okay. They
Yeah.
have a gray with a speckle.
Yeah.
That's the only reason I think that.
Yeah, I think it was a yarn from the area.
It's the only gray I own in my stash is gray with colored speckles all
Yeah.
over it, and I have this gut feeling that's Madeline Tosh. But there is more color.
Yeah.
So I probably
I will try to
not,
find
but
it
no, it's
before
no
you
big
post
deal.
this so that people
it's-
know.
We can
But it was a desperation move. I
I
needed
love
knitting,
this. I have
and
never seen this anywhere.
yeah.
Yeah, I really
Paris
love
Toujours.
this.
Yeah, I love it too. It's Heidi. No, I don't remember.
I'll put it. It'll
Okay.
be down below for sure.
Okay.
And my Atta Girl sweater, that I wear all the time, that I have 4 colors of, is yarn over knit together for the whole thing
Yeah.
and stockinette sleeves. And it works up so quick because
Yeah.
the holes grow, like it helps it to grow so quickly. And I always say this is one of the fastest sweaters you can knit.
Yeah.
You know, it's just yarn over knit two together with a bigger needle.
And it's easy to
Just
stay
works
on
up.
track because you just always know where the yarn over should be. And
Yeah. No, that's lovely.
Yep. One of my
Perfect.
favorites of all time. Yes. Paris Toujours. And
Well-
just another note, the first one we looked at out of Dream and Color Classy,
Yep.
I only used 2 skeins. It calls for 700 and some yards. I only used 250. It was plenty big for me, so I bought 2 skeins of Classy, and that was all I did.
Yeah, yeah. So
Yeah.
a 500. You know,
Yeah,
I do
500.
like a 500 a yard DK weight shawl.
Yeah.
That's about a perfect size.
Yeah.
And if you wanted it bigger, you
Yep.
could just make it bigger.
Yep.
Yeah, for sure.
Yep.
That's really nice.
Yep.
Well, let's talk about this one since we
Sure.
referenced it because
Yeah.
it's fresh off the needles.
It is. It still has holes under the arm and stuff. So this is Lento by Jonna from Lina magazine.
Yep.
And this
is one that Tracy of the Grocery Girls has knit twice and raved about the patterns.
It's a very easy pattern. It has small short rows in the back. It's supposed to have a provisional cast on
Folded collar.
I don't-
Yep.
That's
Yep.
too much effort
Yep.
for me.
Yep.
So I just made a regular old collar. But it is a Kumo, which is a lace weight Suri alpaca, like a mohair, silk
Yep.
mohair, but
Yep.
it's Suri alpaca.
Yep.
Held together with a fingering twist yarn of hers. I think it's called Twist Merino. So it's 2 strands held together. Yeah, it's beautiful.
So
This is
worked at like a
coquelicot.
DK weight?
Yeah,
Is
I think I'm on a 9 needle.
No.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Really?
Yep. Yep.
Oh my gosh.
Mhm. Yeah, so I think the ribbing was a 6
That
maybe.
would
and then
work
the
up
buttons a
really
9.
quick then.
Really fast, yeah.
Okay, don't you guys just love this tomato orange color?
Isn't it great? It's called coquelicot.
I
and
was
it's
like,
LaBarre.
you know, I just had a birthday, Amy, so really nice of you to knit me a sweater in my color.
Oh, isn't it nice?
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
it's
it hasn't
really
been
nice.
blocked yet. The tails haven't been woven in, but it's beautiful. Yes, I love it. And I am making a second one out of a yarn that we do not carry that is also a tweedy color. This is hedgehog fibers.
Yeah, with
Tweedy?
where they collect fingerling weight scraps
Yeah.
from people,
Yeah.
and they chop them up in a thing, and they throw them in when they get spun at the mill.
Yeah.
Yep.
We do
And so
not carry it.
You get all the colors.
Yeah. So yarn store
it's
owners
available on,
do also buy things at other yarn stores for full price. Yes, we do.
Yes.
So Emily has the purple colors. She's making Lento as well. Purple, our Emily, my employee Emily, our team member, and I'm doing this one. It's lovely. So I'm making
Yeah.
a second one. It's fun and fast.
Yeah, just top down raglan,
Yeah.
right? And so you can try it on as you go.
Yeah.
But I do know that Tracy of the Grocery Girls, which is, their podcast is like 40,000 viewers, so lots of people will have seen it, has raved about just the fit. She liked the fit. She liked the way it worked up. And so, but I hadn't seen one in person, so that's really nice.
Yeah. One arm looks longer than the other, but hey, it doesn't matter.
That'll probably block right out.
Doesn't
right?
matter.
No, right?
It may actually be too hot for me even to wear, so I don't know.
Oh.
Yeah.
No, I'm past that, but thank God I'm past that. I'm
Yeah, I
older
love it.
than
It's-
you,
it's
but
really
yes.
pretty.
Yeah, no, really pretty.
This Helix cardigan, and it's another LaBarre yarn, Merino DK. I have had it, it's been a couple years off the needles. It is not pilled, so I wear it all the time. I wear it twice a week. It has like the where my elbow is has gotten a little worn. It's like it looks a little whiter where my elbow is.
Yeah, yep.
You can see it,
Yep,
really
yep.
clearly there.
But not as much as in person. Like, that looks
That was
lighter.
more, yeah. But it has not pilled. Like, there's no pilling under the arm or anything. I just can't. It's crazy. So it's a beautiful yarn. The fun part about this sweater is the raglan increase.
Okay, so we're going to tip and look so you can point at
the
it.
raglan increase is a make 5. So you knit across and then you make 5 stitches and then knit across, make 5. So normally you would maybe knit front back, knit 1, slip, whatever. You make 5 stitches. It's maybe make 3, but you make 5 loops.
Okay. Yep. And then you knit them.
Yep. And then you
And the
knit them the
next
next
time,
round.
yep.
So it just adds a pretty little detail that's not a regular raglan.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really pretty, mindless, easy.
And
every
it
other row.
starts way up at the neck,
It
really
does,
high,
yeah.
and yeah.
Yeah, it's very pretty. So the only finishing really is the little button band,
And so is that picked up after?
I did not. Yep, and I
Yep,
did
yep.
not opt to put buttons on them. I don't have a button a cardigan,
Yep,
so
no,
I didn't put buttonholes or buttons on it. But I love it. It's a very wearable color.
And is this the length that the sweater was meant
No,
to?
the sweater was shorter.
Okay,
I added length.
Okay, yep, that's just sometimes nice to...
Yes, and the Lento actually is longer than it's supposed to be too, because that is a really kind of shorty croppy.
Oh, okay.
And so I added a couple of
Yeah,
inches on the
yeah.
Lento too. But yeah, this is a very wearable, easy.
Do you remember the colorway? This is really nice.
It's beautiful, isn't it?
Yeah. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's probably called Smoke.
Yeah.
Or
Loam. Might be Loam.
Oh,
Wow.
wow.
I maybe remembered.
Wow,
It
yeah.
might be Loam. But yeah, it's very pretty. Merino DK. And I think a DK sweater is just like the perfect weight of sweater.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yes, light and lovely. Yep.
Yeah, definitely better than worsted. I have a lot of worsted sweaters, but I do find them too warm.
Yep.
A lot of the time.
And one more thing about the Lento, they just did a make along or something. So on Instagram, there's lots of hashtags. Lento,
so you can
MAL
see
or
lots of
KAL.
people-
Lots of them, yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Yep.
And was that through LaBarre that did the Lento?
I
or
think
did the
through
Lento lady...
Lina and
They
LaBarre
together,
maybe?
okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
you didn't have to use LaBarre. You
Right.
use whatever yarn you wanted.
Right, yeah.
So there's lots
Okay.
of options to
Okay.
see. Okay, this shawl is Stephen West.
Okay.
Painting honeycomb shawl. Yes. And these are separate colors. It's not gradient. So these are each separate balls, the red, the orange, the... it is so much fun to knit. It looks hard. It is
There's
like
the back.
so easy.
Because she's just striping across.
Yes.
And then the gray connects.
Yes, and it is so simple. Those are just slip stitches. It's just so easy.
I have done honeycomb, but I have not knit this.
Yeah, and he's got, of course, blankets, and he's got everything with this honeycomb. And he's got bigger honeycombs or little ones. I chose the little one. It was so fun to make. I loved it. And this is a cotton wool blend called United from Queensland, I think.
Yeah.
Queensland.
Is it a complete triangle? No, it has a bottom edge. So you're working
Same
this
shape,
way.
really, as the other
yep,
one.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Oh, that's just lovely.
Yeah, isn't it fun? And you could use mini skeins because it's a fingering. So you could do, if you have a bunch of mini skeins in your stash, you could do it, or a gradient
Man, I have
shawl.
2 shawls now I want to knit.
It's a fun one.
Really?
Yeah, it's really fun to make, and it's fun. Comes
This
together
is
quick.
nice.
And
This feels really
It does,
nice.
doesn't it?
Yeah.
And they're little
It has
balls.
a tooth, like a cotton, but I wouldn't have guessed cotton.
Yeah.
I don't know why it has
Yeah.
like a, I don't mean tooth like wool.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's really
Yeah, it's nice,
nice
lightweight.
hand.
Mhm,
Yeah, it has a
mhm.
really nice hand and nice drape.
Yeah.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah, I love it. It's one of my favorites.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
that's
really
a fun
cute.
one. Yep,
Okay.
fun one. Lots of options with that one. You could do it out of anything.
Excellent.
Okay, so
We have
yeah.
a lovely cowl here.
Yeah, so this is called the Versa Cowl. It is a beautiful entry into using 2 colors at one time. Or 2 colors in one project, I should say, because you're still only using 1 color at a time.
Right. I have beginners and advanced beginers who don't know how to change color to
Yeah.
make stripes.
Yeah,
Like
yep.
they're like, how would I put a stripe on?
Yeah, so this cowl is kind of short and, well, it's knit in the round. Yep, knit in the round. And you start here, and you start with 1 color, and you work a knit 1, purl 1, knit 1, purl 1, drop that yarn, pick up the second yarn, and just knit. And then you drop that yarn, pick up the other one again, knit 1, purl 1. So you've made this kind of detail there. And then you swap the yarn. One is knit 1, purl 1. You just switch them. And then you switch them back. And then you just stripe the rest. And we call it Versa because you can wear it either way.
Yep.
It's very versatile.
Yep.
Yep, you can wear it in with the stripe out, or you can wear it open and tall.
Long. Yeah.
Yep. We knit ours originally out of Malabrigo Rios. It's a beautiful Malabrigo Rios project. There's a million color combinations. So we love that project. It's called the Versa Cowl. It is free on Ravelry.
And it's
Love
been
it.
very popular.
It's very popular. Yes, it's very easy. Lots of yarn stores have samples in their stores.
and kind of a turning row here.
Yep,
because
little
you've
turning
got
row. Yep.
Pearls. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yep.
it kind of would fold for you nicely. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's not too tight against your neck. It feels.
This is the gray one.
Yeah.
Gray with
Yep.
kind of dark gray with some color in it. Got
Yeah.
some blue and gold in it.
Yep. And then we also have a Versa Lite. So this is fingering.
Oh, this is Cori's colors.
And this is 5 mini skeins. Yeah.
I'll hold it here where you can.
Yep. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's a fun
really
one.
Cute. And
Yep.
you wrote this?
I did. Yeah.
I thought so, but
Yeah, it's a good one.
I was going to let you
Yeah.
toot
Oh,
your horn because
yeah.
you hadn't said.
Yes, it's a great pattern. It's very versatile again. This is a great one for mini skeins if you have them.
I do. A
Yeah.
whole box full.
Yeah.
Like of multi-packs.
Well, perfect.
That
And we
I
do
would
have
love
this
this.
exact kit in these colors in
Yeah,
the shop on
and-
the website too. Versa Lite. Yeah.
And this is Universal Yarns fingering?
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
Mhm.
So they're all made in fingering.
This one is. These
Okay.
are worsted.
Okay.
Yep.
Yep, okay.
Yep. So we have worsted option in
Okay.
Malabrigo Rios,
Yeah.
and then our fingering option is in Universal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
The
Lots of
yeah,
colors.
Yeah.
Yeah, we love it. It's a great little kind of mindless knitting to take on a trip or something else, or if you're a newer knitter, it's a great project.
Yeah. I love that.
The last one I have is called the Gresham wrap. It is Blue Sky Fibers.
I love this.
Mm-hmm. It's
Every time I see it, I say,
Yeah.
I need to make it.
Let's see where we're looking here, which side we're on. So it starts at the bottom. Michael at Blue Sky Fibers designed it. It starts at the bottom with kind of a broken rib, and then each section is a different texture and color, and then it has this giant section of broken rib all the way down, and then it ends the same way as it started. I knit this many years ago with white as the main color. That's what the photo is on the pattern, which is bright and beautiful, and it got stolen from the store off a mannequin. So I had to re-knit it, and I knit it in this color for the second time. But
Have you tried
I've knit
everything
it
on
twice.
the mannequins now?
No, I know.
Oh, I do.
I know.
When I send stuff to stores, I attach strings of yarn.
Yeah.
Say, tie it to a
I
shelf,
know.
tie it to a mannequin to make it just a little
I
bit
know.
harder.
It's a good idea.
No, I mean, I
But-
know you want to trust people,
Yeah.
but losing samples for me
Yeah,
is
it's
huge.
a bummer.
I
Yeah.
had a shop employee sell one of my samples in the shop, and when I
What?
went in to pick up the samples, the person said, "Oh, I'm just so sorry," and she didn't offer to like pay me for the sample or
What?
whatever, and so I was like, in the moment, I was just like, I can't believe that someone in your shop sold this. It had a tag on it that said "not for sale" on the back, like I had attached tags, right?
What?
And then I went home and I emailed her, and I'm like, I just need you to know that
Yeah.
I need to replace
Yes.
this. I'm going to need you to pay, and if you sold it, you should have at least in the moment offered me the money that you
Yes.
sold it for, right? Like, but I was in
Absolutely.
such shock. And then she had a customer, and I was just like, okay, I'm going to back out. I'm just backing out.
Oh, my word.
And my card was on them, and they never called. This and she's like, oh yeah, this was quite a while ago, and I'm like,
Yeah,
you
that's
call
weird.
and tell someone, right?
Yeah, that's
that
weird.
an employee screwed up, and
Yeah.
the employee then needs to pay for it or whatever. But
Yes.
so now I'm very scared of
understand.
losing.
Yes, I
samples.
understand.
You're just nicer than me.
We have had a sweater stolen too, but yes. It's just, again, this is
These colors are
not
awesome.
super challenging project. It's fairly easy. We do sell it in a big bundle, so it's easy to access.
It's
but
really drapey. It has
Yeah.
really nice.
and yet you can
drape.
kind of like, you get it all like bundled up in there, and
Yeah.
it's so warm and it's bright, and I just love it.
Yeah.
This is wool stock, Blue Sky Fibers wool
Yes.
stock, which is 100% wool, but it's lovely and warm. And there's a lot of colors, so you don't have to use this color palette either if you don't want to. But these are full skeins.
But
of
yeah,
the
you could
minis.
do a gradient of blues or a
Yeah.
gradient of purples if that's what you love, or
Yep.
alternate just two colors. You
But
know,
it's called the Gresham wrap, and it's just lovely and generous and beautiful.
yeah, it's really pretty.
Yeah, really
it's stunning. When you had it on a mannequin when
Yeah.
I came in once, I was just like, wow.
Yeah, it's beautiful. I knit it
That's-
twice.
Yes, you have,
Yep.
and not on purpose.
I know.
This is
That's
great.
it. Yeah,
No,
thank
this
you.
is awesome. I'm so thankful that you were willing. I
Yeah.
want everyone to come to Stillwater and meet and come to Darn It Anyway. Plan a vacation,
You
plan a
should.
trip. I do have people that come from all over the country, and that want to know where yarn stores are, right? And
Yep.
they've heard me talk about your shop, but it really is a beautiful river town where there are shops all the way up and down the main
Yep.
street. So you've got candy stores and bookstores and ice cream shops and a bakery and coffee shops and
Yep,
what am
clothing
clothing
boutiques and,
boutiques. Yes. What else?
a
am
lovely
I, like-
independent bookstore. I
Yeah.
think you maybe said that.
Yes, and a couple of nice hotels, there are places to stay, and then sweater camp, which are you doing sweater camp again?
We are. It is January 31st, February 1st and 2nd. We release tickets in August sometime, but yeah, we're doing it again. Yeah.
Because afterwards, every year, you look exhausted and say, this was so much fun, but so much work. I'm not sure we'll continue to do it. And then you do it again.
I know.
And then we're
it's
all
just so fun.
It is so fun.
I know.
And
it's
it has
really fun.
it's becoming an institution where there's an expectation that it will never go away. Right? Like people are already planning and talking about it. And we met friends. I met Jen and Karina, who has started the Knitting Up North podcast up in Bemidji. And they were coming to stay with me for Shepherd's Harvest after we went to dinner with them and met them at sweater camp, right? There are connections that are made, friendships that are made.
Yeah, and it's just such a comfortable, warm, casual, it's just such a lovely thing. There's no stress in it. It's just
for you,
us, but like for our people, it's just so nice.
For you, but it's so much work to put on an event that size.
It is a lot of work.
So much work,
it's
and
a lot of work.
I think people can show up and feel like it was effortless, and you want it to feel effortless, but I don't know that people realize how much time and energy it really does take to plan an event that large.
And
how many people can come? Like
200 in person, and then we had 54 virtually this year.
Yes.
Too,
so we should share that because there are people that can't afford to travel or don't want to travel to Minnesota in January.
And 200 people is a lot of peopling.
Right.
It's a lot of people in there. So if you're not really a people-y, you don't really want that.
There's room.
There
are
is,
tables of 8, and and you do have to sit with other people.
And you gotta wait for food, and there's a lot of people there.
Yeah.
So 200 people is a lot of people. But we offer a virtual camp, so it's the same programming. So you hear the same speakers, and then you have extra things virtually. So we have extra speakers.
You have someone that's online
moderating
with
the
them
whole time.
That's kind of your hostess for the time. And
they get all the same swag and all the good stuff.
And at a discounted price. You're certainly not staying here, and you're not going out to dinner, and you're not paying for the whole event where you're eating lunch.
You're not paying for the food. It is definitely less expensive, and it's just a fun way to be involved. And you learn so many things because we have farmers and yarn dyers and yarn makers and
speakers, and the concept of bringing them in, a lot of them in virtually, is just amazing. Just amazing.
It's really fun. You may not. My hope is that you find somebody you didn't know before. We can all hear Andrea Mowley.
I sat with Teresa of Get Bents, and Sam of Lavender Loon, and who designed the sweater, Brand Moody, and I'm trying to think, I'm going around my table. And those were people that I had never spent, I knew Sam fairly well because I've designed for her, but I had never spent like a period of time with her. Like we've Zoomed, but I had never sat, and just kind of chatted with these people. And Teresa just got in touch, and she's like, "Are you going to be at Shepherd's Harvest?" Right? Like, that was a connection I didn't have before.
Right.
And I told her, I said, I bought your yarn, I'm going to knit it up, and I want to design something with your yarn, your farm yarn, right?
Yeah.
And that is a connection I never would have made before, and that happened because of sweater camp.
Right. And we heard from Karen Skassel.
Yes.
She's Addie Needles. They own Addie Needles, and that was a fascinating story about how her mother brought the needles back from Germany. Like, just those are cool stories. I try to get like interesting people that you might not have easy access to see.
Yes, absolutely.
That's part of the fun of it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So really neat.
Yeah, we love it.
Okay, we're going to wrap this up. I will see everybody in 2 weeks. Thanks for watching.
Bye.
Bye.